Hi everyone, Sherwood Small Pets here. So I'm here with the girls and the foster girls. They just got cleaned out so their cozies aren't back yet. Hello. Everybody's busy tonight apparently. Anyways, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. The number one thing I get messaged about on my Facebook page, holy smoke, everybody went nuts all at once. 1 second. Anyways, the number one thing I get messaged about on my page is young children asking me how to convince their parents to let them get chinchilla, guinea pig, hamster, etc. And I've never once responded with help in trying to convince your parents. Because one, I don't know your family situation. Two, I don't know how old you are or what your financial responsibility is. Three, that's not my place to get involved. I know I've seen on lots of forums and stuff other members trying to help members convince their parents of this kind of thing, and for me it just doesn't feel like my place. So if I've ever responded to you saying that I'm not, I'm not going to give you those kind of pointers, it's not like personal, it's just that's not the way I do things. The reason being is a pet is a big responsibility, and blindly I'm not going to help you get something that I don't know if you can, handle looking after. But with that, I want to do this video addressing the parents, because I know I have a lot of young viewers and a lot of young subscribers, and I would hope that if a kid gets a pet, that the parents would take part in getting to know about the type of pet that they're getting, learning what they need, and all that kind of thing. So I figure I might as well do one at you, parents, because as, somebody who, as a teacher, I think addressing and having open communications with parents is one of the number one most effective ways of, getting messages across. So that's what I'd like to try to do. So yeah. If at any point I sound a little blunt, that's because I am talking to you guys as adults, and I'm not going to sugarfoot around it. But yeah, so without further ado, this is Dear Parents, What to Consider Before Getting Your Child Their First Pet. Okay, so typically when you're thinking about getting your child their first pet, wow, that was fun, you've no doubt heard the term starter pet. So the first thing that you think of when you think starter pet is exactly what the giant pet industries want you to think. You think cheap, low maintenance, space saving, easy to care for, short lifespan, and something that your child can take responsibility for, because that is the way that they have marketed them. And when you think starter pet, the pets that typically come to mind, and the pets that I'm going to be talking about today, are hamsters, guinea pigs, rabbits, rats, gerbils, mice, and even nowadays chinchillas, hedgehogs, and sugar gliders, which we will classify as exotics. Now that we've got the fun definitions out of the way, the realities of what starter pets actually are when you take them home and are away from the pet store. They are expensive, they range from low to high maintenance, they are space consuming, they are consistent work, and they can have extremely long lifespans. And most importantly, they are your responsibility. So parents, there are lots of things that you have to consider before you tell your child at home that they are allowed to have one of these starter pets. The first thing that you need to understand, and I'm going to put this bluntly, is that they are your responsibility. The last thing that any pet parent wants to hear is that you are getting a pet to teach your child the meaning of responsibility. Frankly, that's your job to do as a parent and should not be done at the expense of a living animal. Period. I can't tell you how many pets that we see on Kijiji, in shelters, Craigslist, what have you, that have the main headline being, wow, that's fun. That have the main headline being, child lost interest, child is not doing their part in looking after the animal. Of course they're not. They're a kid. I am all for having pets in the home growing up. I always had animals in the house, and they were considered mine. However, my parents never pushed the responsibility on me or let my pet go hungry one night because I forgot to feed them. That's just cruel and really awful for the pet, because they don't understand that you're trying to teach your kid the understanding of what it means to look after something. They just know they're hungry. So you can clean the cage by all means with your child and expect them to help you. You can also tell them that it's, it's time to feed them. Or, have you taken your guinea pig out, or one of your guinea pigs out today? All very valid points. However, if they don't, you have to. The small pet doesn't make it any less of a responsibility. That sounds, harsh or whatnot, but that's the way it is. And that being said, you also have the responsibility to take your pet to the vet. So many people say, yeah, but it's a hamster, or yeah, but it's a guinea pig. I paid $5 for it. There's no way it's worth taking to the vet. By bringing your pet home, you're taking responsibility for looking after its health and well-being. And its health and well-being includes vets. Most small vets visit a vet, or most small pets, there we go, visit a vet in their lifetime. And it's going to be expensive because for some strange reason, a creature as common as a guinea pig is considered by most vets an exotic. So there is an expensive fee. If this is something that doesn't sound appealing to you, I would strongly advise against getting your child a small pet. Because saying, that you're going to get it and it's going to be easy to look after is one thing. Watching it suffer because you didn't think it all the way through, that would be on you, not your child. The next thing you need to understand about small pets for your child is the fact that they are not toys to be given away or traded when your child inevitably loses interest. I know you're going to think this is the same point as the responsibility one, but it's not. Kids get obsessed with things, from all the time. That's the way their brains function. Something new and exciting happens or is given to them, and it's all they want to think about for a given amount of time. But then, like a child's obsession with Furbies, I'm going with a 90s reference because that's when I was a kid, it dies. You don't care. You forget where it goes, and suddenly, you don't even realize it if your parent gives it away. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, the same can be said for pets. Children lose interest. They forget, cleaning the cage is no longer exciting. But once again, like the responsibility, the onus falls on you. So if you live a busy life, and most parents do, that is not a fault by any means. That's a reality. If your life is too busy to handle that, I would strongly advise against getting your child a small pet. Because again, you don't want the pet to suffer for something that you were unable to do. The next thing that I would really hope that you would do before getting a small pet is research with your child. I know for a fact that there are lots of kids here on YouTube, there are kids on forums and whatnot, because, there's really not an age requirement for these things. And that being said, they can learn so much from so many people, but you should be learning about it too, because ultimately it's your pet as well. It's really easy to sit, take 10 minutes in an evening and watch a YouTube video on the specific pet that you want, or do some reading on forums. The best part is it's all free and it's all right at your fingertips. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't want to rely on somebody working at a pet store to tell you what your pet needs, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be inaccurate and way more expensive than it needs to be. That's right. Most of the time, the better options for your pets are the least expensive. For example, parents, would you believe that this cage here costs less than almost every single, quote, guinea pig cage at PetSmart? These are the cool things you learn when you do all your research outside of the mainstream sources that have been accepted for so long. So if you're with me so far, hopefully you've come to the conclusion that yes, you still want to get your child a small pet. And I say to that, that's fantastic. Small pets are a great addition to any family, and they are lifelong joys. You know, so if you're still with me, I'm going to presume that, you know, all this is slowly sinking in and you're like, okay, now what more do I need to know? I'm very optimistic, as you can tell. I'm going to give you a little, like a short little, like not even Cole's Notes version or bit of information on all the specific small pets that your child may may want. Where's Lilo? There's Lilo. Okay. So a little note on hamsters. Hamster's lifespan can be anywhere from 1 to 3, technically more, but very rarely, years. So that's about the low end of the lifespan spectrum. If and that should be something that you consider. They also cannot, and I am going to, like, there is no if, and, or but around this, cannot be housed in one of those hamster pet store cages. They go against every single SPCA rule for, like, cage size. They're way more expensive than you need to pay, and they're going to give your hamster an extremely low quality of life. You can buy a used tank on Craigslist or Kijiji. Why are you walking so funny? Oh, you're trying to lay down. There it is. Aww. And gone. And you'll save a ton. Guinea pigs really need to be housed in something that's either 2 grids by 4 grids, so just a little over 2 feet by 4 feet, and they need a companion. I'm going to get people on here saying that their guinea pigs lived alone forever and they're happy, but rule of thumb, we're going to say they need to go in pairs, and most rescues won't adopt them out in anything less than a pair, so that takes the work out of it for you. Rabbits, honestly, they benefit from the most amount of space possible. There is no pet store cage that's safe for a rabbit to be penned in. They also need to be spayed or neutered, and they also require a friend. Rats require a lot of, like, brain stimulation, companions, and a lot of space. They're extremely intelligent animals, and but they are also prone to things like multiple different types of cancers, so you need to keep their vet bills in mind if you're planning on bringing rats home. Gerbils are major, like, burrowers and diggers, so you need to have a cage or a tank, preferably a tank, that can hold a bunch of bedding, and you need to understand the different ways of cleaning them out. They are not to be kept the same way hamsters are. They're different pets. They're also very high energy. So if you have a small child, probably not the best direction to go. And on exotics, I'm just going to say this here. We're going to get it out in the open. Don't get your child an exotic pet. I'm going to speak from my experience with degus and chinchillas. They are not a child's pet. They are by no means a child's pet. They don't, as a rule, enjoy being cuddled. They have extremely long lifespans. They require a lot of special care, and they're not for little kids. My mom gave me the best piece of advice. We had rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs, everything growing up. And when I would repeatedly ask for a chinchilla, she'd say, no, when you are an adult, you can get yourself a chinchilla. And that's what I did. And I am grateful for it, because there's no way I would have been able to provide the proper care that a chinchilla needed. So just as cool as exotics are, unless it's your pet, like for us, like we'll have Merlin for a good long time, so, but if this is going to be your first family pet, a chinchilla is not, it's just not. Like, how old would you say a person should be before they have a chinchilla?
21.
And we were 19 when we got Merlin, so that just goes to show you that. The next thing, this is a little bit less of a, bearing down point, but it's still something you should think about that a lot of people don't realize until it's too late. Lots of kids like to keep their pets in their rooms. I know I kept my guinea pigs in my room when I was younger, and then when I had a bachelor apartment, they were all in my room. because kids like to feel close with their pets. That's totally normal. But if that's what you're going to do, and you have a pet that, you know, is active at night, is that going to disturb your child's sleep? Or your sleep? Trust me, the wrong hamster wheel can keep a whole house up all night. There are lots of things you can do to prevent that. There are different ways of like mounting wheels or getting like quieter wheels, etc., etc. But you do want to think about that. It's one cool thing about guinea pigs. They're pretty quiet at night, unless something totally freaks them out, and then the whole house will know about it. The next point, and probably my last point, ties in with lifespan. What's your kid gonna do? Like, is your child planning on going to post-secondary education? They're gonna go away for college? Are they going to, you know, move out of the house as soon as they turn 18? If any of that is true, what happens to the pet? This is something only you can answer, as you know how old your child is. But you have to think about that. And your child has to understand that too. The responsibility doesn't go away just because the child plans on moving. So, you know, if they can set up a situation where they get to bring their pet to school, that's awesome. I got pets while I was at school because that made more sense. But it's all entirely dependent on the individual, and this is something that you as a parent have to, you know, sit down and figure out with your child. And with all of that fun stuff being said, I'm sure lots of folks are going to say I'm a huge negative Nancy for all of this. I am a big advocate for having pets, especially small pets, in the family. I think that small animals teach children a great deal. I know mine have taught me, you know, like when I was little, mine taught me so much. So with all that being said, I just beg of you that you do the proper research. And if you're watching this now, you're already doing that. So good on you. And to the kids that are watching this, because there are a lot of you, this is not me discouraging you from talking to your parents about getting pets. Never. Just make sure that you and your parents understand the responsibility that comes with looking after a living creature. Because if you do that, then you'll have a lifelong friend and somebody you'll never forget. And anyways, probably next video will be something short and fun because I've got 2 really long ones out now. Anyhow, we will see you guys all again real soon. This has been Sherwood Small Pets, Mr. Sherwood, the girls, foster girls, and Gus in the pet room saying thank you so much for watching. As always, please remember to like and subscribe and leave us a comment because we do absolutely love to hear from you, whether or not you're agreeing with us or telling us that we're absolutely off our rocker. Have a good one, everyone. Bye. Look at that popcorn.